Cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Quaddie Poddy. Cashy joined by Nick. How are you, mate?
Good, man. You sound a little bit different today.
Oh, got a frog in the throat, mate. Got a very big frog in the throat. I was at work earlier this week. I was at a Oztag Gala Day, believe it or not, out at Manly, standing in this pouring rain, and it's left me quite froggy. So forgive me, punters, if I have a couple of coughs, a couple of sniffles, and a couple of croaks here and there. But, mate, we cleaned up on the weekend.
Yeah, did well. Tommy Kitten helped. Jolly Star really helped. I didn't get to watch much as I was down in Canberra for a trial match for footy, which was good fun. We won, which is good. Played all right. But I got to watch Tom Kitten and I got to watch Jolly Star, which ended my day pretty well, and then had a couple of bevs. But it was nice. It's good to have a couple of winners, especially in those big races. I get a bit of a bit more ahead, I should say, in the tip-off, which is good.
Yeah, up to 10-point lead now. 7 winners on the day from us. I must say, would have been a whole lot better if broadsiding had come home. Cost us your multi with Treasure of the Moment. Cost us a few other multis. It was the last leg for quite a few multis, I'm sure, around the country. Woderton also didn't get the chockies. That would have been a nice winner there as well. 7 winners, we're not going to snip our nose at, but gee, we were very close to being 8, 9, 10 plus winners on the weekend. So we're certainly finding our form at the right time of the carnival.
No, it would have been good. It would have been, but we're in the right direction, and I think a lot of good horses are going to be winning, and you'd rather get it right now because there's a lot of value going around, so should be good.
Fair enough. With Jolly Star, great win. I will say Headwall, awesome run. Jolly Star took the exact same gap Headwall did, but she had the initiative. Well, Damien Lane had the initiative to put her through that gap first and arguably won her the race. Headwall closed off nice and quick, but, you know, the race was done as soon as she hit that gap with authority. Do you reckon now they maybe send her to the UK for Royal Ascot? Send her down the straight in the UK.
I'm not a big send Aussie horses overseas. I never like it because we don't really hear too much about it until they come home, and it's usually some bad reason they come back home, which has been in recent years. Not a fan of it. I'd rather watch them here. There's probably more money to be won here.
It's more the prestige than the money, I think, going over there these days.
For Jolly Star?
Just for any horse to go over there and say that they're an international winner and a winner at Royal Ascot.
Yeah, but what prestige does Jolly Star have here, really? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, none.
There's not a lot to go over there and be like, oh, she's won everything in Australia. Now she's coming overseas. She lost in Everest.
Well, it's like Asphora. Asphora couldn't win dick over here, and it went over there and pumped them.
It doesn't make any. Oh, yeah, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. I just like Nature Strip went over, made sense, very elegant. Although it was the wrong decision, went over, made sense, had legacy to run, goes down as a great horse. But then you look at Jolly Star, you wouldn't put it on the level as Nature Strip, or in my opinion, anyway.
I wouldn't.
Well, obviously, you wouldn't put it on that, but I just think it's, yeah. That's what I reckon.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Well, there it is, punters. I'll tell you, you'll have a bit of that in the episode. I wouldn't be surprised if she does, now that maybe Switzerland's probably not headed over there. You know, usually the trend of the last few years has been at least one Aussie horse goes, usually a Waller horse goes. But, I mean, I would like maybe a year of none of them going and them just sticking here and trying to get the best out of them here because, like you said, when they come back, they're usually not the same horse. And I mean, we've sent Stormboy over there. He kind of counts. He's full-time there now, but he can technically wave the Australian flag at Royal Ascot this year. Only other thing to really touch on, Pride of Jenny is back this weekend, officially at the races.
Yeah, suits up pretty well. We might talk about it a bit later, I think. Yeah, she's back. It is she's really well suited to this race that she's going to run in as well. So we'll wait and see. What do you reckon? I know you're not happy.
I'm not going to lie, I hope she runs dead last by a country mile. I'm not a fan of how this all panned out. Not a fan one bit.
I honestly think she'll win. I think Zardozi's looking for just a little bit longer in that race. So,
well, we still don't know if Pride of Jenny's even the same horse because of how much of a cliff she fell off at the end of the spring because of just how run into the ground she was.
Yeah, that's true. The Shelby 66 style. Just never came back.
Yeah, talk about that. How did the Shelby 66 get allowed to go around on the weekend? Like, I get the vet cleared it, I get the trainer cleared it, and I get, obviously, was healthy enough to run. But what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Should have been retired 2 years ago when it had that great run. Retire on a high. That horse is begging for the paddock and got pulled out after like 100 meters. Like, come on. How did we let that horse go around?
That horse has some legacy, mate.
Jesus.
She's good at her best in the wet, in the slop.
He loves it. He loves it. He ran like 6 weeks straight and he just win. Won me a lot of money, though. I will admit that. But look, we've got a lot of listener questions. We've got a lot of hotlines. So let's just get into it. Let's get right into it here. First one comes from good friend of the show, James Ford. Shout out to you, mate.
Here we go.
Let's see what you've got to say.
Hey guys, just wondering, how many rounds into the footy season will it take until Nico gives the elder Cashmore a bake on the field? If it's about to happen, I would like to know so I could turn up and see that. Thanks, guys.
Well, if you've been coming to training, mate, I'm sure you've probably heard from his little brother that he's copping a little bit, but yeah, love to see you down at the footy, mate. So come down anytime, James Ford.
Stocks Bloodstock, what's he got to say?
G'day, boys. Jory from Stocks by Stock here. Wotan last weekend, no excuses. I'll copper on the chin. I still think he'll win the Golden Slipper next weekend. I still think it's the best year on the country. But we move this weekend, Skyhook, Western Swindon. I think that Skyhook's a bit more brilliant than Western Swindon, to be honest. I think that Skyhook should be very hard to beat in the Pago and then back up next weekend and run a place behind Wotan in the Slipper. Cheers, boys. Have a good weekend.
Fair enough. We'll talk about that in a bit more detail when we get to the Pago rundown. Let's head to Jeremiah as a party. And I had to listen to this one earlier. He's given us a full-on rundown of his thoughts on the Pride of Jenny race. So maybe we don't need to talk about it. Let's just let Jeremiah take it away.
Hey, boys. New time listening to the Poddy. Love your stuff. Just wanted to share my thoughts on Pride of Jenny in race 8 at Caulfield. Peter Young Stakes, 1,800 metres. Step weights. She's carrying 57 kilos there. Craig Newitt on board. Horses to note in the race are Bois d'Argent, Zardozi, and Future History. Future History, Zardozi, Melbourne Cup sort of horses. Bois d'Argent won a Group 1 in Queensland over 2,000 metres at like $100 last Queensland Carnival. I just think she's the class horse of the field, and she should just be winning. It's a 2-horse race, her and Zardozi, no doubt about that. But I just think her racing pattern and the way the race shape should play out is just much better for Pride of Jenny. Pride of Jenny leads, cruising speed, barrier 3, straight to the rail, just go and catch me if you can sort of thing. While Zardozi is typically a back marker who gets back, throws off quick late sectionals. But in a small field where nothing to really kite her in the race, and, nothing to really follow, to travel behind and, look at to get that bit of competitiveness in her. She's going to be off the bit for a long way, and it's going to be commendable if she can chase her down. Will they lead by that far after the last prep? Who knows? Only Tony knows. But I just think she matched really well for this race, especially at those set weights. What's your thoughts, boys? Is she a lay? Is she a play? Do you want to see her go around before putting any money down on her? But I think she's not the worst play of the day. Thanks, everyone.
Far out. We need to get him a job here, mate. He's running down races with more detail than us, and I think he's given it a good shakedown, that race. And the call of Bois d'Argent at $23 is an interesting one. I'll get it out of the way now because we won't really be touching on it until around the grounds. Pride of Jenny, to me, I would be laying it, considering what we saw at the end of spring. No good. $2.45. Newitt on board instead of the regular, Bates before he got kicked off. I don't know. I'm laying it. You reckon Pride of Jenny's a play, mate?
I think she wins.
Well, I guess will remain to be seen. I'm on Zardozi in that race.
A long break.
I'm on Zardozi in that race. But yeah, Pride of Jenny, I just can't get behind it. And then we go to Jay O'Brien to finish us off.
G'day, Mox. It's J1400 from Dabble. I just wanted to give a massive shout out to Linebacker. Since it's being gelded, I backed it first up, I backed it second up, I've gone and ditched it and had broadsiding to win $2,000 in a multi, and Linebacker's got up. So shout out linebacker and fuck you.
I feel your pain. I absolutely feel your pain, Jay. That's exactly what happened to us. And I've backed linebacker every start of its career, and I finally jump off. And it would have got me some good points in the tip-off. My goodness me. Would have brought me right back to the front. Shout out Jay. J1400 on Dabble. If you're already on Dabble and you're following us, go give him a follow. He's a king of the CBS down there on Dabble. He rarely loses one. But if you haven't got Dabble, you can always download the app, use code MOXSports when signing up to let them know that we sent you. Gamble responsibly and set a deposit limit when doing so. Mate, what are our listener questions?
Let me get them up. Frismic has got a couple questions too. Most informed stable, Bjorn Baker.
Yeah, Bjorn overall of the carnival of the last 2 weeks, I would say Godolphin. Cummings is back, baby.
Yeah.
James Cummings is back. He had a very slow start, had a very slow spring as well, but he's back. But yeah, Australia-wide, Bjorn, he's on fire.
Favorite New South Wales track outside of Rosehill and Randwick.
I'm a big Canterbury guy.
Yeah, Hawkesbury's all right. Don't mind Hawkesbury for a bit of country races. It's not too far. Jasper Langley, hey boys, got to ask your thoughts on Vauban, the biggest Melbourne Cup pretender, race 5 at Rosehill.
Yeah, he's back. Back this week. We'll definitely touch on it. It's going to be hot. It's going to be hot, man, on the weekend.
Hates the hot.
And we've seen he hates the hot. Hated like a 25-degree day in Melbourne, and it's going to be like 35 degrees in Sydney. So if he melts, rip up your ticket. If he doesn't, maybe races on. But it all comes down to how he parades and if he melts or not. That's the big watch.
Riley Pearson accidentally self-excluded, worst decision ever.
Gee, that sucks. How do you accidentally self-exclude yourself from gambling? How do you accidentally go all the way into the app, go to your settings, and press self-exclude? Tell me that. I want that. Answer on a postcard, please. How did you accidentally do that?
Yeah, I don't know. Henry Ferguson, Nico versus Kashi in a power slap 1v1. Who is the one standing at the end?
Should that be our punishment for spring?
For both of us. Power slap 1v1 is when you get a turn each.
Oh, then should we just do that for spring and just?
Should we just do it anyway?
We should just do it and see who wins.
Who do you reckon will win out of your?
I reckon you'd be the favourite. You'd be the favourite, but I don't know if you'd end up winning in the end. I reckon I could take a few slaps.
I reckon you probably could.
I'll take a few. Whether I'm able to dish them out or not remains to be seen. I reckon I'll be able to take a few.
I don't know. I think I'd just get really angry. I'd see red.
I'd probably barely get you, and then you'd just turn around, be really mad, and just knock me out with like your second one.
Yeah. Do you think trainers are punters' friends? From M. Hitcher. What?
No, he's probably referring to the fact that Chris Waller always double nominates his horses and then scratches ones, and you put your all-in money on one and it doesn't run. They don't care. Unfortunately, they do not care about the punters. They care about their money, not your money, which sucks. And I'm sorry, if you've been watching on the YouTube, you would have seen me turn my computer to Nick a couple of times and him look surprised. I'm going to have to do it again. We're recording as Richmond are playing Carlton, and they're all tied going in the fourth quarter, mate.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. We're a horse pod through and through. We're going to keep chatting horses, but we're going to closely monitor that. That's fucked. Carlton should be up by 100 points right now.
Yeah. Put a line through them straight away.
Go on.
No, trainers are not punters' friends.
Yeah, they care about their money, not your money.
Favorite non-metro race to go to? B1 less 96.
Oh, well, I guess Hawkesbury, because Canterbury was my other track, but that's a metro track. So, yeah, I like Hawkesbury. Maybe Newcastle.
Same one, yeah. JMac 966900 says race 8, Ascot, Bonjoy, and Lindemann at Rosehill. Best of the day. Remember this. All right.
I agree.
J Mart is Manal, the forgotten horse in the Coolmore 51 on its back, and each at juicy odds.
Look, I wouldn't say she is the forgotten horse, but also remember that no 3-year-olds ever won the Coolmore. But I mean, 51, she could absolutely fly.
Not a question, but start placing one unit on each race of the day. Then when posting results, say how many units you are up or down.
I've had a few requests for that. We might look into it come spring, but who knows? We're not really a big units guy. We're more telling you basically we are $10, $20 punters, so that's usually how much we're putting on each. If we've backed, a certain amount of winners, we're in the profit because we're pretty evenly staking on them.
And Sammy Taylor asked, does Reveille keep going, rolling through the grades, or finally lose one? Also, what do you boys think they are targeting with it?
I think it keeps on rolling through. It's $1.40 this weekend.
It'll win.
Multi leg for sure. Wins. Where's it going in the autumn? Not sure. But where's it going in the spring? I would love to see it line up cup season. I honestly, I don't think they have a major target in mind. They're just seeing where this horse takes them. And then it's risen through the grades. It's gone from all those benchmarks. Now it gets to go to the first at Caulfield. Jumps up in grade again. Again, probably at the start of the prep, they weren't thinking we were going to be in an open handicap race by the end of the prep. But it's there now. Wins this. Maybe goes to a Brisbane winter. Maybe it's put away. Maybe has another run. Maybe it has another 2 runs. But I reckon spring, it can certainly line up in a few stakes races, that's for sure.
Fair enough.
Was that it?
That's it.
Okay, let's absolutely blitz through this Rose Hill rundown. It's Coolmore Classic Day. That's usually Nick's day to shine. He usually absolutely carries us on Coolmore Day. The weather is going to be hot, hot, hot. The track's currently a soft 5, but expect that to be good 4 and a very dry good 4 unless they irrigate the shit out of it before races start. Rails in the true position as well for the entire circuit, so it could be absolutely road hill territory. So monitor that potential bias throughout the day of grabbing the fence and go, go, go. Race 1, we've got the midway. Tough race as always at the 1,200 metre mark, but I've landed on the Extreme Cat. Usually runs well fresh, does his best work on a dry deck, and has a winning combination with the Doyle and Morgan setup. I expect him to sit just off the speed, launch late, and hopefully nab a win. $6, $2.10. I'm all over him.
Good name, that. Let's go again for me. $7.50. Let's go again. Second up, should be good here. Ran pretty nice first up. Third should do nice. Race number 2, benchmark 78 at 1,900. Not too bad of a race here. To keep it pretty simple, I'm going with Hertzville Zagreb. $4.60. 2 wins on the trot. 2 from its career. It's going to go 3 in a row here. Let's have a crack.
Fair enough. Perfect play for me. I know he's become a bit of a non-winner, but finds punters. Finds himself a very winnable race. Has form behind Kings Valley and Reveille, the horse we just discussed. And those 2 horses are very high regard of, so I'll back him in at $5 here. Perfect play. The Pago, Stocks Bloodstock. Shout out to him. He mentioned it earlier. This is the last chance for the boys to get into the slipper. This is the race that a horse by the name of Shinzo came through a couple of years ago en route to winning the slipper 1 week later. We've got a few of the better 2-year-olds going around here, and it's a shame that some of them won't be here on the big day next week because they just haven't accumulated big enough prize money, because West of Swindon should be there. Comedy should be there. I would say, Skyhook probably should be there. United States should definitely be there. Valedictorian probably should be there. But, they're not all going to be there, which is just a shame. I'm going back to the well with United States again. I said earlier on in the spring, I'm more on him for a size and a champagne, but he finally gets to have J-Mac on his back, which will be the real tell if he is in fact as good as I think he is. Watch him launch late, $7.50 to win, $2.30 to place. The fact that Karen McAvoy's been on him both starts and probably ridden him a bit upside down. J-Mac finally back on. I think we can finally see what this horse is made of.
Yeah, I'm a bit stuck here whether I go Skyhook or Comedy. Stick with Comedy or I go Skyhook. I'm going to go Comedy, $11, $2.88. Good enough for me. Forgive its last run, it wasn't too bad, but the one before that, it almost got home. So Comedy for me, third up, should be peaking, and then get it into the slipper next week. Race 4, the 1,200 meters. Strata Verena is your favorite, $2.90. Good race, this one. Pretty tough. I'm going to go with a bit of a roughie here. I'm going custom. James Cummin, informed trainer at the moment. Got Rachel King, great jockey. Been over in Japan the last couple of months. $27, $5.75 for the price. Good each way odds for me.
Yeah, look, last chance for the girls here. And I'm going to give a shout out to Lincoln Palmer, who has told me to get on this horse. And when I had a deeper look at the form, I actually really like it. So I'm backing him in here with Autumn Blonde. Love the Autumn Sun kids, even though they do get better with longer. But this horse just continues to close off strongly every start, and the form behind within the Law and Belazane is form I like. Just needs to get going a little earlier in the race to get into the finish here at $9.50 to win, $2.60 to place. Also, punters, I'll give you a futures tip here. I gave you the tip last night, Nick. I don't know if you ended up getting on, but a horse by the name of Enviable debuts here with Tim Clark on board. Chris Waller trains. It's $41. It's a Frankel kid, so probably isn't winning this week, backing up and going into the slipper next week. I feel like Waller's definitely setting it up for maybe a Sires, a Champagne, a JJ Atkins. So Enviable's currently $126 to 1 for the Sires. I've got a $5 on. Did you get on?
I did 5 each way.
5 each way as well. That's about an $850 payout. If you can find on your local bookie, you can maybe head to Dabble as well and get the $126 odds for Enviable on the Sires. Might not line up there. It is an all-in market, so don't go too all-in. You don't really need to at those odds. Wait maybe for the Champagne odds to drop. Maybe wait for the JJ Atkins odds to drop. But Frankel kid, you know he's going to be good. Waller also owns him, so he'll want him to go good. Yes, he has ownership slots in a lot of his good horses, has some shares in Woderton, has some shares in United States, but doesn't own every single one of his horses. You know, he only keeps a share in the ones that he knows are going to go good. So he must have a feeling about this horse. He's clearly setting up for something bigger down the line. So I'm just saying, if you can find her in those markets, I say get on. And if she somehow gets up in a few weeks' time at $126, you owe me a beer. Race 5. Well, this is Vauban's race. Obviously, class-wise, he has a whole lot on this field and he's excellently placed at these weights. But his best is over way further. He's been known to get really hot. It's going to be really hot. I just can't have my money on him just in case all those things fall into place and he runs like shit and we have to wait for him to get out to your 2,400 metre plus on a cold day. Maybe he pisses in, but I'd rather not have my money on him. Kinesiology is a horse I've been chasing for quite some time, and I'd hate to jump off him now and have him win. But gee, Lindemann just looks like the easy bet here. The form around Via Sustina is too much to ignore. Beat Via Sustina to the line first up over 1,400. Split Via Sustina and Fangirl in the very next start over 1,600. Now gets the fact that he's out to his pet distance in a winnable field. Picture perfect setup with a bone-dry deck. Should be winning here at $2.30. I think it's one of the bets of the day.
Yeah, I'm with you here. I think it's the perfect setup. I think every other horse is looking for a bit longer. Kinesiology is one that I looked at because it's probably set up for this race pretty well. But I think Lindemann's a great bet for the weekend. Land Legend and Vauban, interesting to watch how they'll run. But like you said, I think they're looking for a lot longer. Vauban in particular hasn't raced under the 2,100. So Land Legend and Vauban, watch, see when they get to a bit longer. But Lindemann looks to be a great bet. I agree. So we move to race 6, Far Lap Stakes, 1,500 metre. Tough one here. Probably will not be betting on this, to be honest. I'm going with the Zach Lloyd Waller combo with Real Class. Win last start at $10, $2.50 for a place. It's a New Zealand horse, been running pretty well. If it stays a bit soft, a bit wet, which I'm not too sure. Is it meant to, did you say it was meant to rain?
On the weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, God, no. It's going to be hot.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, scrap that then. But Real Class, New Zealand horse, likes it a bit softer probably, but it's going to give it a good go here. So Real Class, $10.
Fair enough. I'm straight to the point here. Delici Boulevard. We know that, that Waller absolutely loves targeting this race. Lady Shenandoah is maybe going to line up here instead of the Coolmore because he often likes to run in this race with his younger horses instead of the Coolmore. So interesting to see that he's sending Lady Shenandoah there. He must be very confident in it. But Delici Boulevard, I think, is probably his next best chance when it comes to his 3-year-old girls running around at the moment. Obviously, Autumn Glow's still waiting in the paddock, waiting for her to run first up. Obviously, she is, I think, the best of the lot. We've just got to wait to see when she steps out next. But yeah, $3.20 should be right in the finish here. Delici Boulevard all the way. As we go to race 7, the Morris McCartan Stakes. Open race, but I'll be straight to the point here again with the favourite. Pistonello, $3.50 currently, and quite frankly should be winning. Knuckled down, rose through the grades solidly, and spring remaining undefeated all prep. Trial work has me thinking he's ready to rock and roll at stakes grade, and is excellently placed to the weights here. Got feathers on his back, should be winning.
Fair enough. Tough race again here. I think I'm going to be with you here. Pretty easy. Took the words out of my mouth, really. We'll skip race 8. Go straight to 9, mate.
Ajax Stakes here, 1,500 metres. Really good race, as you find quite a few of Australia's best B, C and D graders at the mile battling it out here at that 1,500 metre mark. And look, I know he's got a lot of weight, but I'm a big Pericles guy. Always been a fan of him. Once thought he was Godolphin's next big thing. That didn't really happen, but he's still quite a good horse. He's done quite a lot of good things and got a lot of wins for them. Had a health episode first up, so let's forgive that. Can bounce back here, and his best is better than this field by quite some margin. J-Mac on as well gives me some confidence. $5.50, $2.05 is a price I'm willing to take on. I'm surprised he's at each way odds here. I'm all over him. Pericles for me in the 9th.
I'm with you again, mate. Sorry to
Oh.
be pretty to the point. Great horse. Should be good. J-Mac, even better. Race 10, 1,400 metres, benchmark 88 to end it. And I'm going with something I haven't tipped in a very long time in terms of prices. The last one might have been Manal at this kind of odds. $41 and $8.25 each way. Private Legacy. Tommy Berry on board, carrying the 58 kilos. Got real close in spring at the 1,600 at Caulfield. Other than that, ran terribly, was up and down. But that second place behind Grinzinger Bell was a race that I do remember and raced really, really well. 1,400 meters. I'm going to go with it here. It's going to be suited up. Fresh, who knows, but it's in my black book, and there's nothing else that I really like. It's going to be Private Legacy for me.
Fair enough. Pretty simple. Les Vampires leads, grabs fence, kicks, wins. Just a typical Gay Waterhouse job to close out the day. Rose Hill, $3.40. Yeah, not much else I can say other than that. All right, tip off, mate. Let's go through the official scoreboard. So you've got 2 wins, 2 seconds, 2 thirds. Currently sitting on 23.6 points. I've got 2 wins, 3 seconds, 1 third. Currently sitting on 13.5 points. So you're up by about 10 points. And if you just joined us, we are playing for the fact that the punishment is doing a mic'd up Pilates session. Still remains to be seen if we are in fact doing it privately one-on-one session and making it a real intimate session. But either way, we're getting me stretched out on those what do I call them? What do they call the beds? The
Pilates
beds.
I don't know.
They got some technical name. Every girl and their dog from Bondi love getting on them. But yeah, it's going to be painful to say the least. So I'm definitely going to be looking to try and get some points on you this week in the Group 1 Coolmore Classic. As we all know, the Coolmore Stud Stakes in the spring's my race. I dominate that race. I don't think I've ever lost that race. But the Coolmore Classic, mate, this is your race. I feel like you've only lost it once, twice max in the 5 times we've had to tip it. You are all over this race. Our theme song was Crone for years because of you landing that at about $25. So what have you cooked up for us this year in the Coolmore Classic next race?
Tough race here. I just spoke about my Ruffy, and the horse that it came behind was Grinzinger Bell, who's in this race. $23, can respect a bet there. Manal at 51 kilos, who I've also spoke about on this pod, $23, $4.30 each way for sure. Rachel King can get it done. I'm not going to be with it. Scarlet Oak can get it done. $27, 51 kilos as well. So there's a lot you can go for, a lot of value. I might have a couple of plays as a betting point of view, to be honest, punters. But if I have to go with one horse to go with it, I think Lady Shenandoah will be very tough to beat, but it's got to be Amelia's Jewel for me. Great first up, won easily. Looks to be back to her best. $7, $2.10. Let's get it done here. Amelia's Jewel, please, in the Coolmore Classic.
Fair enough. I'm going a bit rough here. Look, Lady Shenandoah is going to be hard to beat.
She is.
We're aware of that. Don't love the barrier. Probably gets dragged back to not last, but towards the back, and we'll have to launch late. But we know she has the turn of foot to do that. Lady of Camelot also, with the way that the track's playing, is wide, but if she can get out of the front and get up on pace, could just fall in to a win here. Grinzinger Bell, again, loves to lead. Again, could be one that just gets up on pace and just falls into the win. But I'm looking at Olentia, $21, $4.20. When do you ever see this horse at this price, Nick? Not very often is the answer.
It's a good horse.
Very good horse. 2/4 to start the prep, but those have been absolute sit and sprints, which she is just not a horse that is about that life. She is about really revving up those gears, going around the turn and just going whoosh, get down the straight and just, getting into a nice hot tempo and relishing that. But she's had to have an anchor dropped on her in front and then just get told to sprint off the bounce 300 meters out. She hasn't really been able to pick herself up. And because of that, she's blown out to $21 here. And I think, come on now, if she can get around this field with a nice hot tempo with those Lady of Camelots and those Grinzinger Bells going out in front and setting the nice hot tempo, she can round them up late and get the job done. And if I snag 25 points here, it's on for young and old for the tip-off. I know we've still got about a good 15 to 20 races still to go, but it's game on if I can get this race here with Alentia.
Yeah, Alentia's a great pick, I reckon. Honestly, Wallace said that she's going to win a Group 1 at some point, and this could be it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this race. It's always a good race, always provides a lot of entertainment, and I think it's going to be a very tactical affair. Who's going to be the leader? How hard are they going to go? Where are we going to get to in the run with a few of those horses drawing out wide? Is Amelia's Jewel going to get a clear lane to the line in middle barrier there? Is Alentia going to be able to swing wide and, get the chockies there, or is she going to have to weave through a lot of runners there in barrier 3? She's going to get buried on the fence. Hopefully, in my case, she gets a nice clear run to the line and gets the chockies there. So that concludes the great tip-off as we're about to head to Around the Grounds, mate. But just quickly, I said we were going to monitor it. And 12 minutes into the fourth quarter, Richmond Tigers are up by 12 points on the Carlton Blues right now.
God.
Dan Gorringe, we need a welfare check on him. I think he's probably having a heart attack in the stands at the MCG right now. What in the world is going on? We also need a welfare check on Corey Dow. He's probably having conniptions at home as a Richmond fan. This was not meant to happen, punters. Again, sorry, I apologise for the footy chat, but if you know your footy, you know how significant this is. Around the Grounds, mate, have you found anything away from the features?
There's nothing I like apart from Pride Jenny, so I'll let you take it, mate. But yeah, Richmond, what is going on?
Yeah, well, I said Revelair, but it's $1.40, multi only. Why are you putting that on the head? I don't know. Caulfield, race 6, you're on Prodigy. I'm on Zardozi, like I mentioned earlier. I'll also take Bonjoy and race 8 at Ascot. I really agree with that listener who gave us that tip. I can't remember who it was. I'm sorry, but you know who you are. I agree. Just building a picket fence over there in Perth. Not often I go to Perth, but this horse I'm definitely willing to go over there for. So Bonjoy for me. But other than that, around the country, it's a bit of a snooze fest. It's a really weak dip before we come back hard with Slipper Day next weekend.
Yeah, Victoria's pretty boring this weekend.
Yeah, not a single feature. Well, I mean, got some features, but not a single big race to be tip-off worthy. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Let's go through the quaddies at Rosehill. We're back to our traditional 4 in each leg here. We've got in race 7, Time to Boogie, Piscinello, Mojo Magic, and Perspiration, 6, 7, 10, 11. Amelia's Jewel, Alentia, Lady Shenandoah, and Lady of Camelot in the 8th. They're at 1, 2, 4, 6. Pericles, Freedom Rally, Willado, Ducasse, 1, 4, 9, 11 in the 9th. Finishing us off, we've got Glint of Silver, Private Legacy, Harlem Queen, Les Vampires, 3, 1, 3, 9, 12. Again, the numbers were 6, 7, 10, 11, 1, 2, 4, 6, 1, 4, 9, 11, and 1, 3, 9, 12. Caulfield, in race 7, we've got Band of Brothers, Winner's Edge, She's Got Pizzazz, Matisse, 1, 3, 4, 9. Race 8, Cloisters, Magor, Miss Celine, Kiliana, 4, 5, 9, 13. Race 9, Hedge, Nicolini, Vito, Bossy Nick, Molly Nickers, 2, 3, 10, 11. Race 10, Call Him Iggy, Mix It, Mrs. Artie, Electric Bell, 1, 2, 6, 7. Both of those quaddies, $50 is going to get you 19.5%, as is the mock standard. Mate, if you're going to be having one bet around the country, whether it's in Melbourne, Adelaide, Perth, Brisbane, Sydney, who was it and why?
If I had to have one bet around the country, I think it's going to be Lindemann for me. Race number 5, $2.25. I think Lindeman's the best picked in this one.
Great minds think alike. We're all in on Lindemann this weekend. So for those of you asking what our units would be, we're probably going to be doubling down on this one. You'd probably expect $40, $50 stake. So if that gives you a good gauge of how much to be putting on it, big bet on Lindemann incoming for the mocks. It just, I think Vauban really the only danger. Maybe a kinesiology really down at really low weight. But I just think Vauban's going to melt in the heat. Kinesiology maybe not as sharp as a Lindemann. Gets its peak peak setup here. Bone dry deck at a track that it loves, at a distance that it loves. You know, it has the VSC form, should be winning.
Fair enough.
Is there anything else, mate, you want to say to the punters before we head off?
Nothing really. Good luck. Footy's back. Punting's back on footy. The scoreboard looks shit.
Yeah, tonight's Melties didn't go to plan because everything had, you know, just Carlton domination. And look what's happened. They're going to lose. Crazy, but I love to see it. We didn't think Richmond were going to win a game all year, and they're about to beat the Blues unless they choke.
I reckon a lot of people came out and said, I don't think Richmond win a game all year.
This is going to be genuinely nuts. We didn't think they were going to win a game all year, and they're going to win the first game unless Carlton put a couple goals on them. But they look.
Who knows what's about to happen, like in terms of AFL? I don't think Swans look pretty ordinary as well. In general, I don't think anyone expected them to be that bad. They had a lot of holes in their game. Errol's a big loss.
Shout out friend of the show, Sammy Lawler. He's had about 15 and 2 goals. He's had a great debut. So shout out to him. He's a friend of the show. He listens. So if he's listening tomorrow, if after recovery, congratulations on your debut, mate. Hopefully we've tipped you in some winners.
100, bro. If you want to come on the pod, by all means.
Yeah.
Leave a Hotmail.
100%. Also, again, dabble if you're going to be copying any of our bets, footy-wise, horse-wise, basketball-wise. We've been cooking on that lately. Head to the app, use the code MOXSports, let them know we sent you. We're also going to be doing a live stream on the weekend. I was about to say bright and early. Nothing bright and early, about 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So 1 p.m. on the Dabble app, you'll be having me and Nico bringing you some live banter, some live tips. And yeah, just chatting footy, chatting races. It's going to be a good time. So tune in, make sure to game responsibly and set deposit limit as always when doing so. But other than that, we'll see you next week for one hell of a card. Golden Sipper Day. Get ready, punters. It's going to be a big one.